Europe, a continent shaped by beautiful nature and centuries of culture. Old villages, beautiful mountains, endless history, everywhere you go. But it's also busy and heavily regulated. So we started asking ourselves one simple question. Can you still overland across Europe? We set out to cross the continent our own way, searching for space, freedom and adventure, to see if it's still worth it. This is Lewie and the Rover exploring Europe. This is us, about to travel across Europe in our Toyota Hilux with our Labrador Lewie. Not long ago, we were driving the real Paris-Dakar, a place where freedom feels endless, where wild camping comes easy. But Europe is a very different story. Here, traveling isn't always easy. There are a lot of rules, and it's often crowded. So, we made a plan. We entered Europe by ferry in the south, crossed Spain and Portugal, then headed north, all the way to the edge of the continent, back down via Finland and the Baltic States, into Eastern Europe. As a final chapter, we pushed even further to Iceland. Spain, a place you might know for relaxing holidays, not for adventure. But this is the Garraf Desert, a place that looks like Utah. And where adventure is everywhere. We drove all around the national park, with amazing off-road tracks everywhere, and the Sierra Nevada in the background. And one of the best things about traveling in Europe, amazing food everywhere.
Louis.
Spain has an incredible variety of landscapes. You can go from desert to mountains in just a few minutes. And we were honestly surprised how easy it was to find great off-road tracks. But since it was still really cold up in the mountains, we decided to go back to the desert. This is the Tabernas Desert, a place where many Western movies were filmed. From the south of Spain, we first headed into Portugal, followed the coastline and then made our way back into Spain to explore the mountains in the north. After months of traveling in our 4x4, we were ready for something different. And the Algarve coast was the perfect place for a morning sup. But Louis had different plans. We noticed Portugal was much more densely populated and finding wildcamp spots and off-road tracks was a lot harder than in Spain. But sometimes we managed and found some amazing spots along the Portuguese coast. We drove back into Spain, a country we were slowly falling in love with. In the north of Spain, there's a region called Galicia, with wild coastlines and remote landscapes. It felt like we had found a hidden gem, the perfect place to overland and explore off-road. And just a few hours later, we were back in the mountains. And look at those views. This is Europe too. As summer slowly started in Europe, we decided to head further north. Our next destination was Sweden, where we hoped to find remote camp spots and just slow down for a bit. But off-roading is strictly forbidden here. We stayed in Sweden for about 2 weeks, camping, slowing down, and being close to nature.
It's not bad, but really spicy.
But after a while, we started to get a bit bored of all the lakes and forests. So we decided to head even further north, all the way to the NorthCape in Norway, following the country's stunning coastline. But even though it was almost July, summer still hadn't arrived here. We had snow, we had rain, but Norway's views made up for it. Just like in Sweden, off-roading is strictly forbidden here as well, so we stuck to the paved roads. Quarter to 12.
All right.
We're going to start our hike.
Yes.
It was so cool to experience the midnight sun hiking in the middle of the night. Just like in Sweden, off-roading is strictly forbidden in Norway. So we stayed on the paved roads and tried to drive late in the evening to avoid the crowds. And even though the landscapes in Norway are truly unique and incredible, the number of tourists takes away a bit of the magic. Quite often, we ended up staying at regular campsites, simply because there were no wild camp spots to be found. We wanted to leave the crowds in Norway behind, find some solitude in Finland, and then make our way into the Baltic States. Welcome to Finland!
Holy moly! There are 1 million mosquitoes. I've never seen this. Wow. All right, let's set up camp and
Hide!
hide. More days.
Them alive.
Are they coming inside?
I kept them out. Finland is amazing. It feels truly wild. And we couldn't wait to explore more.
You have to do really
Calm.
nice and calm because we're at a very special place. Yeah? Otherwise you don't get a present.
Louis. We visited Santa Claus Village, where you cross the Arctic Circle. We really wanted to spend some time outside, but the mosquitoes were insane.
This is for science, to show you how insanely the mosquitoes are. And this is not even the worst spot. But if I'm standing here for a few minutes, or a few seconds, they're just crawling around here. I don't know if you can see them, but they're everywhere. Like my pants is like one graveyard of mosquitoes. Okay, go.
Come.
Go.
And since we couldn't find many good off-road tracks, we decided to head into the Baltic States. And there we finally found what we were looking for. Getting lost in forests and enjoying campsites provided by the municipality. Definitely one of the best overland camping experiences in Europe.
So we're in Lithuania, but the weather is really bad. It's only raining and it doesn't stop. Last night we had massive thunderstorms. So we were on our way to visit the castle, but with this weather it's a little bit, not really fun. And the weather in Poland is a little bit better. So I think we're going to change our directions, huh? As we didn't see everything, but sometimes you have to conclude you cannot do everything and have to change your plan. So let's go to Poland. Okay, Louis, this is your biggest hobby. Come on.
So we're in Białowieżkie National Park, and we did some research before we came here because we knew it was restricted for dogs, and found a Polish website which I translated where the dog is allowed, but now we're here and it's not allowed. So it's to protect the environment and the animals that are living here and the nature.
Which is really good, but
Yeah, so kind of sad that we cannot do the Tsars Trail, but yeah, it's some of the things traveling with a dog that comes with it. So we had to change our plans again. And it was time to prepare the Hilux for what might be the best off-road destination in Europe.
So this is for the diesel pump.
It protects the pump.
Yeah, check. Okay.
Toyota.
Cheers. That was needed, huh?
15 minutes, one session here
Yeah,
in the daily cup, and
Yeah.
in the night saloon,
Yeah.
also 15 minutes.
because it was really dirty, huh?
It will be fresh.
We changed all the oils and filters. And then it was a long drive to Romania, make our way into the Balkans, and eventually head to Iceland. And wow, Romania, a place that surprised us in so many ways. It didn't take long before we found incredible off-road tracks. Welcome to Romania. Finally, for the first time in a long time, we were back to proper off-roading in Europe. A place where you can just drive and set up camp.
Alright, let's try some Romanian food. Langos. With cheese and garlic. Jam, chocolate.
It's in Romanian.
Language.
Check.
Wow. Thank you.
That's a cool picture.
It's really good.
We stayed in this small village for a few days. The locals were so welcoming and greeted us with big smiles. What a place! And it only got better. It didn't take long before we were back on an amazing off-road track. But then, a traffic jam. Patrick stepped in to help, and before we knew it, we were invited for dinner.
It's closed.
We spent a few hours with this shepherd family, sharing stories and food.
No. Oh ja, dat is wel... ja, it's okay. It's not that strong. Okay, so homemade cheese. Try.
One day old.
One day. It's really fast. 2 days old.
Rhinos.
Oh, really? It's good. Hey Or, you made it! So, what are your thoughts?
Oh, it's beautiful here. Really nice.
And the track?
The track was quite difficult.
Welcome to Albania!
we drove to the Balkans, Albania, the pearl of Europe. It was our second time here. This country still surprised us with its beautiful nature and the best tracks and camps. Like this spot by the river, where we stayed for a few days, just relaxing, swimming and slowing down. And?
I don't think this road is possible anymore, so we have to find another route.
Easy?
No.
It's been so long, felt like giving up.
From the mountains of Albania, we crossed into Montenegro.
We worn it out. My heart was cold. You came along. Now it's burning up. I've been falling again with every minute. When I'm pulling away, you bring me right back in it, right back in it. Round and round like 45s. If you fall, so alive, babe, so alive. We'll go down the same old river. As she flows, I flow with her.
Lekker?
Flowing with her.
After a day exploring Kotor, we found a camp spot up in the mountains.
Every minute. When I'm pulling away, you bring me right back in it, right back in it.
I'm so sorry.
Then we drove all the way to France. Since dogs aren't allowed in Iceland, only with a quarantine, I stayed in France with Louis for a few days, while Patrick picked up Paul. Paul is a good friend of ours. We spent 6 months overlanding together in Central Asia.
Are you ready, Paul?
It's gonna be amazing, man.
3 days on the ferry, man. I
It's
don't
not
know.
going to be amazing, I don't think so.
Oh, man.
After 3 days on the ferry, their adventure finally began. Iceland is an overland paradise with countless off-road tracks known as F-Roads. But even though it was only the beginning of September, they were surprised by how cold it already was. Luckily, there are geothermal hot springs everywhere. So, after 10 months of full-time overlanding in Europe, we came to a conclusion. It's incredible, but you have to work for it, to find the best tracks and camp spots. And if you're willing to do that, you can still find those remote places. So, is it still worth it? For us, absolutely. Spain, with all its diversity, was our favorite. Albania had some of the best camp spots, and Romania was our all-time favorite in Europe. In the next video, we will show you how we prepared the Hilux for our biggest adventure yet, North America. See you there.